He made sure no one could hear my mute sister's cries for help, so I made sure no one could hear his either. I learned what real silence sounds like the day my little sister stopped racing home to tell me about her days. She hasn't spoken since the accident when she was 6. Drunk driver, crushed windpipe, 3 surgeries that did jack shit except leave a necklace of scars across her throat. She's 15 now, brilliant and broken in ways that make me want to fight God. I've been playing dad since our actual parents discovered that Xanax and vodka made better companions than their traumatized kids. I work nights at a warehouse, then come home to make Emma breakfast and make sure she catches the bus. She talks with her hands now, carries this beat-up notebook that's more duct tape than paper. When she laughs, it's just air. When she cries, it's silence. But when she plays piano, that's when she screams. Blake walked into our lives like a golden retriever in human form. Student council president, debate champion, the kind of kid whose father owned half the school board and the other half owed him favors. He started tutoring Emma in music theory after school. I thought finally, someone sees her as more than the mute girl. Someone who gets that she's not broken, just different. God, I was stupid. The changes started small. Emma stopped wearing her favorite purple hoodie, said it felt wrong. Started showering once before school, twice after. Her hands, usually so expressive when she signed, began trembling mid-conversation. The piano, her voice, her soul, her everything, all sat untouched. When I asked what was wrong, she'd sign tired and disappear into her room. But tired doesn't make you flinch when your brother hugs you. Emma started wrapping herself in layers like armor, long sleeves in 80-degree weather, and wouldn't let anyone sit next to her at dinner. Started having these episodes where she'd just freeze, staring at nothing, hands clutched so tight her knuckles went white. I kept asking Blake how the tutoring was going. Great, he'd say. She's really opening up. The Tuesday that broke everything started normal. I was heading to work early when I heard retching from the bathroom. Found Emma on the floor with Mom's old sleeping pills scattered like confetti, her whole body shaking. The bottle was still half full. She'd chickened out, thank God. I held her while she sobbed those awful silent sobs and rushed her to the ER doing 90 on side streets. When the nurse asked, "Honey, has someone hurt you?" Emma went rigid like she'd been electrocuted. Then, in that destroyed notebook with shaking hands, she wrote the words that made me see red. Blake locks me in the soundproof music room. He holds me down. He says no one can hear me anyway, so why fight it? The bruises under her sleeves looked like sheet music. 5 finger notes pressed into her upper arms. She wrote how he'd wait until the hallways emptied, how he'd use his student council keys, how he'd whisper that even if she could scream, who'd believe the broken girl over the golden boy? I wanted to beat him until my knuckles broke. Instead, I researched. Blake's family owned a rental house 2 blocks from where he walked home every day, empty between tenants. I spent 2 weeks studying his routine and learned he always cut through the alley behind that house at 4:30, saving 5 minutes on his walk. Same route, same time, like clockwork. I wasn't stupid about it. I bought supplies from different stores across 2 counties. Rope, zip ties, water bottles, bucket. I broke into the basement door, and the storage room down there had concrete walls 3 feet thick. 1 door, no windows, perfect acoustic isolation. He'd appreciate the irony. I didn't care if I got caught. This was about teaching Blake what it meant to scream without sound, while someone stronger decided your fate. The nurse had been honest. The kit found nothing since Blake had only held her down and terrorized her. No DNA, just fading bruises. It would be a mute girl's notebook against the golden boy's testimony, with his father on the school board and family lawyers backing him. The law couldn't help Emma, but I would. Friday, Blake strolled past the house, earbuds in, and I moved fast, chloroform rag in hand. Took 30 seconds that felt like 30 years before he went limp. Dragged his privileged ass through the back door and down to that concrete room. Tied him to a metal folding chair with enough rope to rig a sailboat. When he finally woke up, I leaned in close and told him, no one can hear you anyway, so why fight it? The recognition in his eyes was beautiful. Pure understanding. Pure terror. He spent 48 hours in that darkness, screaming until his throat bled and struggling until the ropes carved grooves in his wrists. All in perfect silence, just like Emma. When I made the anonymous call Monday morning, they found him dehydrated and traumatized, his voice destroyed. He could only whisper about a masked man, but couldn't tell them I'd used his exact words. No one can hear you anyway, so why fight it? Without explaining how he knew them. Without admitting he'd said them first to a 15-year-old girl who couldn't scream for help. Blake never returned to school and developed claustrophobia so bad he can't even ride elevators. His family moved to Connecticut, probably telling themselves it was for a fresh start. Emma started playing piano again last month, performed at the winter concert, brought the entire auditorium to tears with a composition she wrote called Finding My Voice. Everything was perfect until I came home from work last night. Emma slid her notebook across the breakfast table. Her handwriting was different, urgent. People at school keep saying your name when they talk about Blake. They stare at me. She looked up at me, and for the first time since that Tuesday in the bathroom, I saw real fear in her eyes. Then she wrote one more line. They know. Full story on channel, linked below.